What is going on, everybody? It's great to be back. It's great to have you guys here, and yeah, it's great to be back doing this again. And what better way than a live after a tight, typical Juve win, 1-0 against Roma, and what better guest to have Auber to come join me, one of the OGs, one of the level heads, and someone that actually knows what's going on, except for his Milan prediction last year.
You're,
Still
you're,
gotta throw that in. It's been a while, so I had to bring that back. Obviously, guys, if you can see it around the mic, Vecchia Signora blog. Check him out, support him. Mason's always been good to me, and he's got a great blog there, and so definitely check him out and maybe buy some merch from him. But yeah, I had to represent that as well because it's like I haven't done anyone any favors lately. So no, I definitely have to start showing up. And again, if anyone joins here, yeah, it's great to have you. So Auber, welcome to the show as always.
Thank
And
you. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for having me back. Glad to see you back on the scene again, my man.
it's good. It's a good feeling, and when you get it right and you do it properly, it feels good, right? It's something I enjoy, and I got to get back to enjoying it. And what better guest to have on and bring on? Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see Chiesa and Del Piero in the scene. He's like, what were those two cards? He was always wondering what they were. But anyways, so big game today. Obviously started out well, I would say. I think we should get right into it. Don't you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think this was not exactly, what an exciting game of football with goals, Galazzo packed game, but this is classic Juve, right? Old the Juve of old, right? It just grind out the results. So, to me, look, I honestly don't care. We needed the 3 points, and we've done it. So, we're closing the gap slowly to the top.
And yeah, it's like you said, it was the typical Juve, but it did start pretty well, and then Roma kind of took over and kind of blitzed us. And I was laughing because just seeing some of the different tweets. Actually, when you do live tweet a game, sometimes I like to, sometimes I don't. But when you see the different reactions of like, oh, we're doing really well, and then later it's like, oh shit, we're getting blitzed. So it's like, yeah, no, they came prepared.
Yeah. I think the first 2 minutes we were pretty good.
Yeah.
Very specific, very first 2 minutes. I think then Roma just pulled back and then really just wall over us. But look, we did what old Juve would do: take our chances, and we'll talk about the goal later on. But took that chance, and that was that, I guess. But yeah, I think we were great in defending. I think in possession of the ball we were quite lacking. Some no shows tonight, and some great shows from some individuals, which I for one am going to eat my words on that one.
Now let's talk about that because I think I don't know, yeah, you've seen the tweets, but Graham was taking a little stick as well, and
Yeah,
I think what Juve fans don't understand is like you can be critical and you can also admit when you're wrong. I find there's a lot of people out there that'll just jam on that bandwagon of always trying to be right. But
yeah,
it's like fine. Like if De Sciglio's having a great game like he did today. I mean, initially I think he was a little sloppy, but
yeah.
then he did work his way into his boots, and he actually played really well. And like you said, we'll talk about the goal, but as well, even Bernardeschi was doing really well, and actually, showcasing his abilities, and actually, playing pretty well, playing pretty aggressive and on the ball. So that was really nice to see, like you said. And yeah, I think like I would say we'd have to give our props to Rome as well. I think they had a pretty great game. We'll talk about
Yeah.
the penalty a little bit later, but no,
But,
they played pretty well. I mean, they were attacking the ball. It's too bad for Zaniolo, I want to say as well,
yeah.
because and I tweeted, I said maybe he shouldn't be playing against Juve in the Serie A because it seems like every game he plays us, we like knock him out for a season. So
Yeah,
maybe that's got to
look,
be.
and this is, you rarely hear me talking about the good of the Italian football and for the league, but for Zaniolo as a player, that game, funny enough, you mentioned, with Demirel got badly injured at that time as well. That in that game, and it was
Yeah.
just so sweet to see Zaniolo pull off. I don't think it's as serious as the last one, but the fact is,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's going to have a stigma around him for his sale tag towards the end of the season. Who's going to buy him, right? Who's going to risk? I mean, he's built up, man. He's done a lot of work, training, strength building. You can see he's a lot bigger than what he was
Yeah.
before. so unlucky to see that. But yeah,
Yeah, and speaking about like again Italian, I think Pellegrini had a really good game as well.
yeah,
Mancini was playing pretty good as well. So hey, I mean maybe for the future, some pieces if we need to pick up. But yeah, I think on the ball, like you said it well, Albert, it was very sloppy, especially in the
yeah,
offensive end. Passes getting away from a lot of the players. I would say generally most of the squad. But then again, we do get up to that goal where it was a perfect cross, and originally I couldn't tell who had hit it, right, and then the
yeah.
replay goes and it's off Bentancur, and then it slightly ricochets off of Keane's
Well,
forehead.
all that matters. Look, I give Kino a hard time on the Curva Twitter, but I have my reasons for it, and it's nothing to do with the play itself. I'm just talking about, the play we need for our team. The fact is, it was a great pass from Quadrado across the pitch to De Sciglio, and De Sciglio whipped it in, Cafu-like,
Yeah.
like Cafu-esque. And listen, and I keep saying this every single time. We need Bentancur up towards the pitch. He's far better up on the opponent's half than our half. And got the ball over, and it's great to see two players attacking the ball, not just the one, which was in the past, which you're going to like to hear, Ronaldo. But it was great to see two players going for it. And you know what? Ricochet, tap in, doesn't matter. Went
Oh,
in,
for sure.
and I did get a bit nervous when I saw the VAR check, and I always think to myself, why is it Juve never just a clear chance goal? Just goal, we can
Yeah.
celebrate. We have to wait for a VAR check just in case, It's just annoying. But anyway,
But like you said, a
great
goal's
goal.
a goal's a goal, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, I think that's going to give the confidence, especially coming off of the international break, right? We had a lot of different players stepping in,
yeah.
which is nice to see because you don't really. I mean, for Juve, I mean, I don't know. I've noticed in the past, every time there's an international break, it's like it's a chaos the game or two
Well,
after, right?
traditionally, Juve after the international breaks tend to be very lethargic, static. Seems like they've been in a pool of rust. But today, it seems we've kind of broken that mold. I hope we can continue doing that. But yeah, it was refreshing for us to actually win a game after an international. So. Yeah, you touched upon about the ball possession. I wasn't best pleased how we were retaining the ball, how we were spreading the ball. We
Yeah.
put our defense in a lot of trouble, and hence why you get those, last ditch tackles that the guys were doing, getting those yellows. I mean, it was unnecessary. I mean, I think we'll touch upon about Artur. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Artur coming on and bringing him in that calmness to the pitch, that control of the ball. But we'll talk about that one, I guess, when we later on the game.
Yeah, and let's say hi to some of the viewers here because I didn't mention that at the beginning, but yeah, this is a live stream, so this obviously if anyone's missed it, but just a shout out to obviously Juve Daily. What's up, Marcello? Hopefully we'll get into some cards. I'll show you some of my pieces I've collected so far and some of the new stuff you're gonna see on this channel in the future. So Mason's obviously here. We got Enya Blanco. Welcome. Footy edits. I believe that's Nilesh, is it not? Yes, it is.
Nilesh is on.
What's going on, buddy? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, 4 wins on the trot, and a big game coming up as well. So it's to really rebalance and get to that top three and put fire to Napoli's heels because I mean, obviously with that 1-0 win that they had today, does that mean they're learning from their mistakes? We'll touch in a little bit before we continue on with the match. But what are your thoughts on Napoli this year? Obviously going 8 for 8.
Yeah,
And yeah, like, do you think they learned their lesson, or do you think it's still? I mean, it's a long way. I'll say that. I know probably your answer, but give us your thoughts.
No, I do think. Look, I think Spalletti coming in does give that the kind of style of football. I mean, he has a tendency to cause a bit of havoc in the locker room, right? When at days of Roma days he did that, at Marda days he does that. But again, Napoli don't have the big characters like they had, like I'm talking about Marda and Roma with the Totti days and the Rossi days. But the fact is that Spalletti's got a team that's been playing a long time together. They've got some quality players in that squad. But it's a long old season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So, we are doing a classic diesel start. Really slow. We really start. I really was really pessimistic at the beginning of the season, But if we keep on this form and we galvanize and the players coming back from injuries like we saw at Tour tonight, and and hopefully Dybala doesn't sit on the bench, you know what I mean? Sake injured again, and Morata doesn't stay offside. Look, I think we can start bringing back that loss against Napoli. Unfortunately, was a bit.
Yeah.
If we had managed to at least narrow that, I mean, that would have probably given a bit of the wind out their sails. But yeah, Napoli is the one to watch. But I'll tell you what, Lazio is a team to watch.
Hey, that's who I predicted. I mean, I think Lazio is a very talented team. They have a lot of players that are returning. And yeah, like I think they, and especially beating Merda today, showed. I wanted to see that a little bit earlier. I know they lost to Milan early, but again, that's just could be their first big match of the season. And again, there's lots of room on the runway to get the experience, right? But I think Lazio is definitely not to be messed with. I think Roma's not to be messed with. I think if any teams are going to come in and play them and think that it's an easy walkover, I think they've got a lot of good players too.
And
But
also Marcelo was saying about that, and there's a fair point. The African Nations Cup coming up.
yeah, I was just about to bring that. Yeah,
yeah. So going to be a few players that are going to drop out, and Juve don't really.
it's a good point.
We don't have any African national team players, so I think we'll be fine. Yeah, you're right. It's a good shout, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, if that's one of their big name players right now that's performing really well, and yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to put their bench on the line and see if they can handle the schedule and not being able to have him. And Juve Daily says same with Milan as well, right? So yeah, that's interesting that they schedule that into the season, but hey, you got to deal with it, right? That's the no excuses, as you've seen the Merda fans already. The whistle hadn't even blown yet, and they're already coming out of the woodwork making excuses before next week. So yeah, that's hilarious. But
That's a big game. That's a big.
It is, man.
Big game next week.
Yeah, no. Well, Albert was so pessimistic about the season, he bought more new jerseys than I did. So.
I've got this the away kit, which I'm not like Graham, but he's a great shirt collector, avid shirt collector. But when I do like a shirt, this black kit is lovely, and the Juve home jersey, apart from the 4XE, has been one of the best for a long time since the last ones actually decent. And also bought some. I'll be hopefully becoming shortly Venetian shirts. I got the black and white. I love it. I just love that shirt. So
yeah, no, those are pretty mint. I mean, I don't think we get the love in terms of these designers, because I've even seen something about next year is going to be some like turquoise green, like neon green or something like that as one of our jerseys again. So yeah, I don't know. Adidas doesn't show the love. I don't know why. I think we're big enough brand, but we've discussed that in the past, definitely for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the stadium too. Was it not the loudest it's been in a while? I don't know if you noticed over there across the pond, but it was pretty loud over here.
I think Maurizio from around Turin was well pissed before the game, and I think he was probably shouting hell. But it was good. It was good to hear that. It was good to hear the crowd. It's great to hear a game of football with fans in the stadium before COVID time. It was really sad to hear the empty stadium. On the flip side, you can actually hear all the players shout, especially when Buffon was goal last season. But yeah, it was great to hear. We were in full song, so it was great. It was great to hear that.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to definitely run it back, because there's the podcast where the podcasts go to die when they don't get recorded. We had one it was last year, a couple years ago, but yeah, that one was a great one, guys. I really apologize that never got, but we're gonna have to talk about ticketing and stuff like that, because I think it's still a problem in the Curva, and it's a pretty big issue. So we'll have to come back to you on that one. And but yeah, it's let's see, any other. So Enya says it's there's something I love over this trend, is that finally we're about having a game plan. So yeah, it's definitely nice. It seems like Allegri's learned from the beginning, those second half letdowns. I think that was the big issue at the beginning of this season. But it seems like it's a little bit more compact, like you were saying. Defensively, we're a little bit better. I know we did have there's going to be mistakes. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be mistakes, whether it be Chiellini making an errant kick up the pitch that goes to the other team, and that's kind of what's going to cause a lot of issues. But I think it was nice to see the 4-4-2, which we started with, and what do you think about how we started with that formation?
Yeah. I think we need to take a pinch of salt when we see the lineup, because the 4-4-2 tends to kind of flow into a different, formation, almost like a 4-2-3-1. And that's what you want. You want a team to be able to react to the game, right? You initially go out with a game plan, right? They do their research, but you can see how Roma was pushing us. So we changed that formation just to counter that. You could see the way the structure, the way he actually got Locatelli more deeper in, Bentancur further out. And I keep saying this, but I know Bentancur gets a lot of heat from the Curva Twitter. But the fact is, if Locatelli plays that register role, okay, kind of almost the quarterback role, and push Bentancur further out, and give free rein to our fullbacks, to run around, that you can see that game plan in effect, right? And I'll be honest with you, De Sciglio today was apart from the first few minutes, he was a monster. He was an absolute monster today, and that's a rarity that I've seen him play that well. Crossing, attacking, tackling, even got a yellow card for a bit of aggression. It's nice to see a bit of the old 90s get your tackles, slide tackles in. It was great. And Benedeschi again, playing that false nine, almost kind of backup striker. It was great to see him do that and play that game. And he had a decent game. I wouldn't say the best game of Benedeschi.
No.
Definitely decent. I mean, to be fair, if he had scored from that bicycle kick,
wow. Twitter would have exploded.
100%.
That was crazy, and I think you said it very well, and I think also having that 4 at the back, that's what I like. I like having an extra your De Sciglio, or whether that be Alexandro in the future. I mean, come on, guys. Was I not right about Alexandro? I got to toot my horn a little bit right here. But Alexandro, you're welcome. But it's a Ballon d'Or season for Alexandro. Like I said,
it's funny what Nilesh is saying about Roberto Carlos. I almost referred to him as Cafu, but yeah, he had a great. And in fact, it was nice to see the fans applaud him and appreciate him. And the thing is, I hope that will pick up his morale. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We know what it's like. But yeah, I mean, it was great to see. It was just great to see him play, good football for once.
Well, like you said, it's all what football really comes down to is just limiting your mistakes, right? So sure, some of these guys that are bench players or whatnot, if they can limit their mistakes to the minimum and put in their effort, that's all we ask for, right? Like, we're not asking for brilliance from a lot of these guys. If they put in a good shift, I think that's what, because again, we still have, I think there was a better lineup than what we put out. That's not our best lineup, to say the least. And me forgetting that Artur was even still on the squad for some reason, I had to double take. I'm like, wait a minute, did we not sell that guy or what? But it was actually nice to see them all together. And I think, what did you think of that? Do you think that's going to be our best kind of midfield going forward, or do you still see something else happening?
Well, it depends really what happens in January with McKennie. I just can't see Juve getting rid of any players at this point in time.
Yeah.
Or just because of financial restraints, and spending big in the halfway through the season is quite a risky business to do it. But right now, Artur comes back. Let's hope Artur stays fit. I think that's the big question, And question is, where do you play him, right? When you've got the Locatelli there as well, those two play together, almost kind of holding that midfield together, almost like the two sergeants in the midfield. I would love for us to play a bit controversial. I'd love us to play the Christmas tree formation of the Milan days. Morata up front, Dybala, Chiesa behind him, and then you have maybe Quadrado, a bit of the wingers out wide, and then possibly and have Locatelli and Artur. Depends how you play Artur, but having kind of soldiers in the middle of the park. And even though I hate to say it, with the right back situation, possibly play Quadrado, even though he can't defend for shit, but he can go forward and he can pass players and he can do a decent cross. But he is susceptible to defensive slip ups, and we've seen it tonight as well. He hadn't had his best game tonight.
No, he wasn't fresh. You could tell he was tired from the international break.
They only flew in from Friday, I think. They only all flew in back on Friday night. So
Yeah, but I think he was definitely it didn't, like you said, it wasn't his best, and I don't know if he was 100% there or not, but
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's different for every player. Some players I think can go through that kind of stuff, and then some other players I think it affects them more. But yeah, no, definitely. That's why I don't like that formation, is because you have to put them there, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could put Danilo. Like, again, depends on what situations you're going to be in, right? And when you want to use that. But yeah, it's
I mean, we could play Quadrado on the side, Locatelli in the middle, and Artur on the left. You know, you could have that three type thing. Maybe
exactly.
Artur not so much forward, and then you got your two up front with Chiesa, Dybala, almost playing a free role with Morata as the go-to point.
Yeah.
And then maybe have Danilo on the right and the left Sandro, or if not De Sciglio, and then you've got your two centre backs with Bonucci and Chiellini. And I must say, Chiellini, you know, apart from a bit of a slip up that led to that, we'll talk about that,
Right.
you know, a bit of a mess up there. But you know, Chiellini coming towards the end, that's what you need. You need that experience. You know, that toe
Yeah.
poke, last ditch tackle. I mean, that's experience that you know, it's invaluable. You know, it's old school defending, and when that guy, we'll talk about the Roma striker hitting the Chiellini going down like a sack of potatoes. I was like, what? And VR checking it as well, which pissed me off even more.
That's hilarious. But yeah, so we got the first half. So let's talk. Obviously, I think we've said enough about the first. It's obviously 1-0 Juve, and again a great cross from De
Yeah.
Sciglio that was like a bouncing off bobbleheads there. That ends in the back of the net. So we get to the half at 1-0, and I mean, if you look at it, you know, Roma had a lot of the shots. We only had, I believe, 2 and 2, so 2 shots, 2 on target at that point. So there was a lot more to ask for. But you got to remember that Roma going into the second half is going to want to, you know, come back and press.
Yeah, and the fact, I'll be honest with you, and we talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. You know, the player that went kind of missing in action was Chiesa. I don't. His back was far too often towards the
Well,
goal.
I was gonna bring that up and saying, and there was a lot of reaction on Twitter about Chiesa being out of place, being in that striker role in the 4-4-2, right? So yeah, I agree. He it didn't seem like he was in a habitual spot that he knew where to be. I think he was maybe confused on what his role was. Um,
Yeah, we just needed to bring Chiesa more into the game, and I was hoping we go into the second half, he will become more prevalent in the game and bringing the play in, maybe coming in more deeper, because that's what Dybala like. And I must
right.
admire Dybala for doing that. When he sees the game not coming to him, he will go
He'll
deeper
go.
and deeper to get the ball and get involved in the game. I didn't see that from Chiesa, and I don't know if that's Allegri's instructions or you know just sit up front. I don't know. It was a bit odd.
It seemed like there was a little bit of space. Like Keane would always kind of push it, and then I don't know if Chiesa was confused to like follow up or if he thought he had to slide in behind. Because I remember at the beginning, like in the first half, there was a lot of times where Keane was pushing down, and I think some guys were hesitant to go into the box, and then his crosses were kind of going to no one, or whenever he had slid the ball back into the box to try and connect with someone, Chiesa wasn't there, and a lot of the others where it almost worked perfectly on the first goal, right? Where they actually, well, Bentancur moves up like you said, and they're both right Johnny on the spot. So yeah, I don't know. I do agree. It did look like Chiesa. That's why to me, I like the 4-2-3-1, right? Where you have that focal point up top. You can put the likes of whoever you want, right? If you want to put Keane up there, Dybala in behind, Chiesa on one side, or even if you want to put Kulusevski or Quadrado on the right side, and then you can use your Locatelli Artur or Locatelli Bentancur as the two, and you still keep that 4 at the back. So that's
Well,
kind of
well,
my thought of
Well,
how.
I wouldn't keep Bentancur at the back on our first half. I think Bentancur should not allow to pass the half line and back into our half. He should just stay up
Yep.
front. And I did say it on one of our spaces at the beginning of the season. For me, the player you know kind of revelation for this season, as long as he plays up there, will be Bentancur. As long as he plays up front, as in forward rather than back, and people will
Yep.
see a different player. And we're starting to see that he's
Yep.
hitting the ball, striking the ball. I mean, when last did we remember midfielders scoring a goal, apart from Locatelli, obviously, and apart from this season, actually, because actually this season we've had the most goal scorers from all various players, not just one player. You know, look, at the end of the day, Chiesa has been phenomenal for both Italy and Juve. He can have an off day, right? Let's not be too harsh on the guy. And we came away with 3 points. So But
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm sure Allegri will see that and make the changes accordingly. But we all entitled to have a bad day, I guess, in the office.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. You're not always going to be 100%, but I know this guy's always 100%. So definitely check him out. Juventissimo 90s, big O at the end because Twitter's a little bit of a
Bloody snowflakes they are.
exactly. So check him out because he's got the best final time, best halftime,
No, no.
short, concise, to the point. Match half
Thing,
summary and
thing
game
is, I don't,
summary.
I don't do fanboy malarkey stuff. I just say how it is. Look, people might think I'm a Quadrado hater or Kina. I'm not. I just criticize any player constructively the way they play for the team, and I don't care if Chiesa has a bad game or he has a bad, or like a few more bad games and he's doing really badly. I'm not gonna. We as Juve fans have high expectations of our team. We
Right.
shouldn't be happy sitting where we are. And yeah, it's a long season, but we should expect our team to be competing at all top levels, not just at Serie A. So I'm pretty much, I think, kind of the old stigma. I expect the Juve beast, the old lady, coming through now. And these, I'm telling you now, it's not. I don't think it's going to be exciting football, right? It's not going to be the 4-1s, 3-0s that we. When we played against Roma, I think a couple of times we won 3-1 in Jan, and we lost 3-1 at theirs. That kind of game with Allegri, it's not. I don't think it's going to happen with him. It's going to be very grinding out the results, and I'm up for that. As long as we get 3 points, that's all that matters.
Yep, as long as you don't go out in round of 16.
Mm.
Guys, I can't I'm still piece by piece with Allegri. We'll give him the credit. He's been doing really well, 4 wins in a row, but I still have that little hesitation in the back of my mind.
Shall we talk about the man of the form who's coming from villain to hero, Mr. Tech?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is like the comeback story of the year. He's gonna win the SP or something because I mean, from what we were seeing at the beginning of the season, I thought we were in deep water with the goalie position, the goalkeeper position, and to just see how slowly now he's been, coming back and making these very key saves. You look in the last few matches, it's great to see. And like I said, again, like you put it brilliantly, you can give credit, you can also give shit, but when someone's doing really well, I have no problem saying they're doing a really good job. So
Tonight was a Tech masterclass. He knew what he was doing there. He knew Tammy was gonna score, so he took Macarena out, and he knew he was gonna save the penalty. He knew that was going to happen. I'm telling you now, it was a masterclass Tech. But no, in all seriousness, no, that was. Look, if you look at it, was quite a chaotic scene. Then, if you think about the build-up of the play, how we lost the ball, Chiellini, from the half, and then they're attacking us solidly. I thought, gosh, here we go, and the last ditch tackle, which by the way, Danilo did a fantastic feint tackle. I mean, the feint touches on the ball, nowhere was a penalty on Tammy. And Abrams, and then obviously, Tech did what he did. I mean, you got to do it. What can you do? You're not going to let him go through. And then Tammy and Abrams scored, and the rest we know, guys. The rest was crazy. It was a crazy 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, let's get into the second half though. Like you said, I think it was all Roma to start, if I remember correctly.
Again.
And we kind of worked our way into getting possession and kind of slowing things down eventually. We did make some big mistakes as well, giving the ball away and stuff like that. But then again, some key tackles and defensive plays by Danilo and the likes of even Bonucci. I didn't like the way Bonucci was on when Tammy had the ball originally. He had a little bit of a twerk in him. Yeah. I don't know if the genes kicked in slightly and he did a little twerk there, but I don't know what that was.
To be fair, he did get the foot on the ball, but yeah, I agree. He let it down on him, and it was just that wasn't the sharpest defending there. But again, the leading up to those events, it was epitomized Juve's game tonight. Yeah. Possession wise, we were awful. Just we weren't controlling the ball tempo, holding that ball, dictating the ball play. It was Roma all the time. It was just and they put our defense in a lot of pressure and unnecessary positions like that happened in that penalty lead up to that penalty.
Yeah, and that's what I think we need to just get better at is taking it a little bit more to the team when we have those chances and not just. I find Juve will go through seasons where, well, what we've seen in the past, we'll go through seasons where they can get away with that with a lot of teams, and then in the 6th, 7th game is when we get burned and when it counts the most. So we got to be a little bit sharper, like you said. And
Well, it was a great, and also it was a great penalty save. I mean,
oh yeah,
Szczesny did a Dudek, an old Polish keeper for Liverpool, who against Milan did the kind of bouncing along the line, and he did that kind of faint dive, and it was great to see that because that's, I mean, it's difficult now. It's difficult because the keeper have to have their feet on the line before the ball gets kicked, right? But yeah, he had his inner Dudek and a great save and a great follow up, by the way, from Chiellini, and I love the way Chiellini celebrated as if it was a goal when he kind of got that goal, cleared off the ball, which is brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's like a Juve signature now, at least. I mean, but yeah, what I originally thought with that penalty, and like I said, I thought he was offside. I don't know why. It just the way the camera panned, and I'm like, oh, he's in front of the guy, and then the announcer started saying it, so I was like, okay, maybe they got a shot. But yeah, when you tweeted that about him taking out his man, Mkhitaryan, instead of letting him score there, it was just a genius move. And yeah, like you said, a great penalty. But you got to rub it into the Milan fans. He's like, what example could I use?
Yeah. Wow.
But anyways, so I think now leading up, I think it was a game that definitely can be improved on. But now we have a big match coming up, and again for 5 in a row, we're gonna be playing Merda. And what are your thoughts going into what needs to change? Do you think? What are your thoughts leading into that game?
I think we need to rock up with literally our with our A game on, and really with our fire in our belly, and really I hate to say this, but we really need to come in like we are the team, which we are at the moment, not on the where we are in the league table. No, yeah, almost. Yeah, I really hate to say that, but yeah, almost like the Minwo team. But really come in and really take it to them, put them to the sword and hit them hard, and fast. And I keep saying this. I know we can't play like epic South Korea 2002, but we can definitely, if we hit them hard and hit them fast with good football, right, with good possession, no silly mistakes, and no dicking about on the back line, and we do not give Merda any time to think on the ball. Hanovic is a liability, and I tell you, if we take our chances, we will beat them. But that's only if we take them to it. If we're going to sit back and if we play like tonight, I don't know.
I agree. Well, and
Dybala must bloody play for fuck's sake, man.
Exactly, and it's going to be a big weekend as well. As I just looked, it's the Derby del Sole, excuse me, tongue twister. Yeah, so Roma Napoli's going ahead on that game as well, on that day as well, which will be a Sunday, and we are on the road at the San Siro. So, yeah, it's going to be big point swing could be in place if Roma does us a solid now, and again they're going to want to keep fighting to stay at the top there. So there's possibilities. I know it's a 10-point gap. Looking at the table between us and Napoli, us sitting in 5th with 14 points, tied with a handful of other teams. I believe Lazio as well. Yeah. Only 3 back of Merda. So again, that's what makes this game coming up even more crucial. The possibility to go even.
The thing is, though, right, that Merda don't have Lukaku, right? And Lukaku right now, he's not doing so great at Chelsea. I just don't know. They don't, Conte said it's an interesting thing about him, about can't play him right at Chelsea. Merda have lost their trump card, which is Conte. Conte was, it hurt me when he joined them, but this is business at the end of the day for them. So you can't get all pissy about that, right? The fact that they lost him, they lost Lukaku. I mean, they're still winning games, but albeit I mean, again, apart from Lazio, but they are scraped a few games. I mean, I'm not watching Merda games, to be fair, but I am keeping an eye on the scoreline. Like I said, the 3 fundamental things is if we don't be sloppy and dick about at the back, we keep the possession and we stay on top of Merda, and we really don't give them that chance to think what to do on the ball, we will win that game. If we do that, if we get sloppy, they're going to punish us.
Yep, I agree 100%. But I do also think that they're not as deadly as they once were, and I think that's the perfect opportunity to take advantage and show again our bright spots, especially.
Do you think Dybala will play?
I don't know. I really don't know anymore. And it's funny because the next podcast that I'm going to be releasing is going to be one from before I left, right before I stopped doing anything, and it was with Luca Natale, the real Juve snob. And it's funny. Like I want you guys to listen to what we talk about. Some of the they kind of resonate. It happened to take place right before Porto. Um, or at least we knew the draw that we had gotten Porto, so we hadn't played them yet. So take it with a grain of salt, see how you are, and then I'm trying to try and bring in Luca again, and we're going to talk about Juve in the next podcast.
This because I know you're did you say you're a Dybala? You're a bit of a Dybala fan, of course. I wouldn't call you a fan, Dybala fanboy,
I'm a
but
fanboy, man. I'm gonna live that down.
yeah.
Screw it.
Well,
I'm a fanboy through and through. Why not?
just out of curiosity, as Juventus, right? How do you the amount of time he's been unlucky with injuries, right? Because you get
Yeah,
players unfortunately get unlucky with injuries, and throughout his career at Juve, he's been injured quite a few times, right? Especially the
for sure.
last, well, since he got COVID, he
Right.
seems to have gone completely the trajectory of injuries. He plays for a few games and drops. Do you think? And be honest now, and without trying to be the fanboy, I'm not having a pop at Dybala, but do you think it's validated that we should be paying him the money, and has he genuinely lived to the number 10 jersey of Juve? Be honest now. The
Those
number
were
10
two
jersey.
questions. Okay, so first question: is he worth the money? We'll go with that one first.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I
Playing rate.
think. Sorry.
The worth of money, the amount he's playing. Don't reward him from the past. You're
Okay.
as good as your last game. Remember that.
Yeah, but that's an opinion as well.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I think I think you got to look at it as a whole package, right? I think you do have to include. You also have to see what he's doing now, but then you also have to take into account the trajectory, right? So then it comes down to what do you think the trajectory of Dybala is? Do you think he can come back? And there's people in that camp and be better, and people that think he's not going to be this a shadow of what he used to be. So I mean that depends on where you sit on the side. I think there's been many cases where we've seen, even in recent history, where he showed the player that he can be.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's just going and getting fit. And look, there's a possibility, right? He won't be the same. But there was the same thing with Del Piero when we helped Del Piero when he had his knee injury, and he went through his struggles with having Capello as a coach and then continuing on through there. So I mean, it's going to be tough. I think the
But
10 million. I think the 10 million that he was asking, or well, whatever was true. That's another story.
yeah.
Um, I think it's right on the money. To be honest, I think he's at the age where he should be contributing enough, and get if he's put into the right situations, like we know, he should be worth that money. But I get what you're saying. He hasn't played that much, but you could look in terms of that, you have to take it as a whole instead of just okay, well, what did he do in the last year? Because if that's the case, why is Bernardeschi even being talked about getting an extension, right? So uh, I think what are we going to judge him on the euro on 1 euro? I mean, so it's a
No,
whole
no,
package. Now at
no.
number 10, I could see why. Look, I could it's what have you done lately, right? So that's kind of what's the freshest in our mind. And you say, okay, well, he hasn't really played a lot, so he hasn't been able to showcase a lot, right? But we damn were thinking he was good when he was scoring at the end versus Lazio to win the game 3-2, and when he was hammering Barcelona. So what's changed, right? Okay, the amount of games he's played. Fine, I can understand that, but I mean, I have hope, and I mean, I think to me to have the hope that it works out in I think it's better for us hoping that it's works in a better situation than him going, because
Well, he's look, he's a good player. You can't doubt his talent, right? You can't. No anyone would be foolish enough to think he's not a talented player. He's a talented player. But for me, as a Juve number 10 legacy, people won't look back at Dybala. They won't even look at Tevez, on which, by the way, I love Tevez. I
right,
think Tevez done a lot for the club in the short time he was with us. The
I
way he
agree.
played with his heart on his sleeve, but he does that with all these clubs, but especially with Juve. And obviously, I don't know where he was that love for that. But apart from that, you always see go back to who? Del Piero. And then maybe when they go before that, maybe people touch on Baggio, but then they talk about Platini. They go
Yeah,
further afield. I
right.
don't, as a legacy, I don't see people would look back and think Dybala,
Three
Juventus.
nothing against Bar. Yeah, fair enough. I think
a legacy of a number 10 player.
Narratives will come and go, right? So I think it's still early. I mean, if they are going to renew him, that's at least what 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah, no, but I don't think that. I think it will happen. I just think that. I think people on social media.
If
like
you want to say right now, yeah, for sure. I wouldn't. I would say he's been a great Juve player, but to get to that strat, but you got to remember that stratosphere that you're talking about is very lofty.
No, fair enough. But that number 10 is heavy, hey? That number 10
it's
is
even
very
heavier.
Heavy. You know, and I know maybe I'll be corrected here. Number 10, unfortunately, the Fantasista role is a dying breed. There's not, you don't know, even footballers now don't even cover the number 10, right? They don't really, I think they more go for the number 7 because of Ronaldo now, because what the player's done for the number 7. But I think number 10, but I still think 10 for me, for however it is a sacred number jersey. Probably that's why I got such a hatred for Pogba for what he did. But anyway, that's another podcast anyway altogether.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Final question point on Dybala. Newcastle.
Okay.
They're gonna, because they got stupid money. They said, listen, Juve, we'll give you 80 million euros for Dybala.
That's tough. That's a tough question.
As a fan, listen, we sold Badger, we sold Zidane, we sold.
So you're saying no questions asked. 80 million check is in hand.
Cash. None of this bollocks of monthly payments and performance. 80 million. Bosh. Here it is. 80 million euros.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. It'd be tough to say no, but at the end of the day, how I look at it like this and how I've looked at every deal that we've done, if that's a yes, then where do we go from there?
Right? Listen,
so it's contingent. I would say yes, but where does Juve go from there, right?
Agreed. I mean, look, I don't think you'll ever see another Moji masterclass with the 50 mil. No. And they sold Zidane and got Buffon and Cannavaro and Thuram, all these players, Nedved, who then won the Ballon d'Or the next season. Arsenal fans still pissing themselves about that and crying about that season. The fact is, you will never see. I mean, apart from because of financial marketplace, completely different to what it was in the 90s to what it is today. I get that. And teams like Newcastle now and PSG and Man City inflate all the prices, right? Oh, yeah. And it's so hypocritical, without diverging here, but it's so hypocritical to hear ex-players like Alan Shearer bitching about Super League and how it's bad for football because of the money and blah, blah. And yet now, just a couple of days ago, he's saying how great the Newcastle fans have merited this. Well, now you got a company, not a company, it's a country that pretty much owns a football club, who, by the way, will absolutely distort the entire pricing market for next season, right? Haaland, all those players. I mean, I know I've got my little thing, my daily thing about Haaland. It's almost like a running joke, but to be fair, it's going to be completely distorted. And to your point, you're absolutely right. We sell him for 80 million, then who are you going to buy now? Because all the prices have gone up now. So
exactly, like they say, rising tides raise all boats. So, like, sure, okay, Dybala's worth 80 now. What is Haaland worth? 250, 300, half a billion. So, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be tough for Juve in the next, because it's either they bite the bullet and they get like international ownership, because I think that's the only way they. I do not think Super League is the answer, and we won't get into. We'll have another. I would love to have a discussion on that, because it seems like you're completely for, and I know there's a lot of people that are for, but to me, I don't see that as being the answer, and I'll just leave it at that.
By the way, we keep Serie A. We stay in Serie A. I'm not saying we should just Serie A.
See, the thing is, Aubert, when you do that, there's a domino effect through everything, like you said. So when you bring in these big fish like like the owners of Newcastle that take over this club, and now there's more money that are coming in, that's gonna have a domino effect. When you have a Super League that now diminishes everything, that also has a domino effect on what Serie A means, right? So again, there's give and take. Now, there's gonna be pros, there's gonna be cons, and I think. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the answer is, but that's just how I originally feel. It just feels dirty. It feels dirty to me.
To your other point on the podcast, you talked about who we might go in for the winter season. Unless we've got an injury to Morata, or we got a crisis up front, and we're starting to have a peripheral of injuries in the midfield, then I think we might try and get someone, I wouldn't say top class. We'll probably get someone not mediocre, but, someone will just fill the gap, almost like a... what's the guy that plays for Torino now? The South American guy. Oh, God, his name goes me. But
Oh, I know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
with the little moustachy thing, little cocaine gangster from Narcos. Anyway, him. The fact is, it's. I don't think so. And then, Marcello talking about Haaland's release clause. Yeah, Juve are not going to be the only ones being knocking on his door, and you've got Mr. Mino who wants to have his little nice little tasty cut of 20 mil in his pocket. So, takes a
Yeah,
lot.
and
So
and that's why, and better than anyone else, that was the main reason why I was so critical on finances and this and that and what deals we're making. It's
yeah,
because it's getting a difficult world, and Juve is in between, caught in the middle. They're like still trying to be old school, but they're still trying to, they're trying to win off of their past, ways with this like free deals and stuff like that. They're trying to get away with it, but not like come into the 21st century, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, I would love Haaland. I mean, how wrong have I been on a player more than Haaland? I don't know, but yeah, like why not?
But let's let Rincon. That's it. That's the
Yeah,
player. Well, yeah, Rincon. Yeah, it just reminds me of Narcos Cartel Boy. That's the proper kind of player we'll probably get a player to fill the hole. But coming back to the point, thanks for that, Rincon. Yeah, but the thing is that at the end of the day, when you look at Juve and how they need to survive in the world we're in now, today's football teams like Newcastle, hyperinflating the market, which they will. It made me laugh when the CEO, the Chinese guy, saying, "Look, don't expect us to be splashing money out and throwing money at this, and we need to cut back." And I think fans that just say, "Oh, what do you mean? We just won the Serie A." And, yeah, but
yeah.
Serie A, when you look at the winning pot, it's not like
Oh yeah,
billions of euros, right? It's not. It doesn't work like that, and that's why we can talk about the Super League next time. But my point is, right, teams got to be. We have to be realistic. Like, we can't. When players really, really grates my bloody carrot, and that's probably why I go a bit quiet, hibernate in the summer, because all these idiots who think they're culture
yeah.
market experts, bunch of I can't swear on this channel, but they just drive me nuts. And people actually believe the stuff that gets spoken
Oh,
about,
it's
like,
it's it's true. It's true, Albert. And yeah, I mean,
it's unnecessary noise, and I don't want to hear that crap. Let's talk about
yeah,
our team. Do you know what? What about How about this is a novel idea? How about investing in our youth team and start producing youth quality
true.
players like Barcelona do? Barcelona do it time and time again with Pedri now. He's just come through the youth ranks. All these young blood coming through the youth. Why can't we just stop pumping time, effort, coaches behind the scenes, the physios, the nutritionists, the marketing, the whole thing behind our youth players, and let's start producing our youth academy and be an Ajax of Italy in a sense. You know what I mean? Like Ajax
It's
do it all
true.
the time.
It's true, and you got to start somewhere, right? So it's like
Last
I
week,
don't know. I mean that's why bringing Allegri back scares me, because you know how the way he is, and that's what worries me. It's like they want to keep kind of this status quo. So I agree with you 100%. I've agreed with you
I mean
100%
that player
in the
Saul.
past and now. I mean, like exactly like that's where you get to my point. Like I was tweeting about this stuff. It's like Saul is like a phenomenal player. Like well, because I'm a closet Atletico fan, right, Mr. PowerPoint. But like I see players from other leagues, and I'm watching other teams, and this guy is a gem, and to have him go, I believe it was for like 5 million on loan to Chelsea. Like that could have been miracles. So that could have done wonders for us. And I don't know, especially like we have a good enough relationship with Atletico, I think, looking from the outside in, that you make that deal all day. So
And that's another thing, right? I think, and without digressing too much on this subject, but it's an interesting topic. The fact is, teams like Newcastle, PSG, the Man Cities, who are hyperinflating the market, right? All these sexy players like Mbappe, everyone wants them, and fine, we can't afford it, right? Forget about it. We just can't, right? I think at the end of the day, what we need to look at is probably build that network, like you said. Start almost like teaming up with other teams, big like Atletico, for example,
right,
or like a team, I don't know, in the UK, which is not too big of a team, but like, let's say like a team like Southampton or someone that produces the young players, right? And almost have that interchange. We almost have it with
yeah,
Sassuolo, right? But start grassroots up. I mean, how satisfying it is to see a player coming through the youth ranks. Look, some work, some don't work. Look, football's ruthless. You've seen it Frabotta
yeah,
last season. Everyone was calling him the new Zambrotta, and then just off a cliff. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
Football's ruthless. Listen, we all want to be footballers, earning 200 grand a week, but there's
Yeah.
a reason why there are only a very few that can play this game, right? And
Right.
earn that kind of silly money. My point is, everyone's now banging on about Rovella. Everyone's banging on about this guy, right? It's like, okay, you know, some work, some don't work, but I'd rather bank and gamble on a youth player, which hasn't cost us millions of pounds, millions of euros, than, you know,
But
than
we know why the answer we know the answer to that already, and that is Plus Valenza FC.
yeah, yeah.
And until we
Well,
get that out of our head, that will never change, Albert. And the thing, and I agree with you again. But what Ajax does is, let's say a player is having a bad game, but they still play the guy the next game. Like, we got to put faith. You have to instill faith in players and not just play them when it seems fit. And Juve tries to, put square pegs in round holes and try all these things just to, like, find their way up to the top and make it work to get these scudetti. And that's why I'm saying we're putting faith in our laurels that then that's what's going to cost us in the long run, and it did last year. So now finally we're going, and teams are catching up to us, and
well,
yeah. But I agree, we got to start somewhere, whether it be an agreement with other clubs or partnership or whatever you want to do. But you got to start somewhere. Like I said, that's the bottom line.
you talk about that, right? Everyone talks about this, got this hard on about the youth project. I'm conscious of the time, but you talk about Kulusevski. The last few days, talking about Kulusevski going to be sold in the winter, right? And you think, okay, the jury's out on Kulusevski, right? But the thing is, where do you give these guys a chance, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Keane started with us. He started with us, right? And then had that 6 goals in 5 games and sold for 40 million euro. Listen, I'm not being funny. If someone comes in with 40 million, you take it. You buy the handle for it, right? And now he's back at us now. But my point is, at the end of the day, I think generally we've got to start thinking a different way of trying to get new blood into our clubs. And academies, for me, in different countries, and build those academies, I think that's the way forward. Academies, and pump it into the youth. Get them from the grassroots up.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But yeah, no, for time, I think we went a little bit longer than we wanted. So I'm going to do a couple things before we end, and we're going to show some beauties. So we got some. Let's see if I can post this. We got the beautiful Chiesa rated rookie. Shout out Don Russ. And now we got, I had to get one of these bad boys, a beautiful Del Piero autograph, Aurora from Obsidian.
How much?
So this one right here cost me, I want to say, what was it? How much did I spend for this one? This, I want to say, was with 4 other cards. I think it was 175 US. So this one is 17 out of 44. So there's only 44 of these bad boys out there in the world.
What, $175 for one card?
No, there was about 5. So so I would say it's probably more around. It's still 150. It's an expensive card, man. There's another one I'm going for. You're gonna see coming soon. It's pretty sick. There's only 5 of them in the world. But anyways, that's a little hint to the future. So I did say I had some pretty cool sealed stuff. So I think Marcello is going to be the only one who knows what the hell I'm talking. Everyone's like, what is this guy banging on about fucking cards for? But anyways, so we got the beautiful Obsidian, 7 cards in a pack. This is like the gambler's dream, but I got it for a sweet deal there. And we got to open one of these. This is going to be coming on the channel.
Coming out on the card, DeShio, Benedeschi, Quadrado.
Well, no, there you're gonna hit this is how I'm picking up these rookies. Like you talk about the market, right? Camavinga only went for like 30 million to Real Madrid, and this is one of the sought out rookies that I look for, right? So I'm not gonna say that he's a lock, but what I'm saying is Juve finds themselves that we talk about these inflated prices, yes, but there are gems out there that are going for less money, and that's where it comes. That's what it comes down to.
I got shat on and laughed at when I said, "Forget about Pogba, get Camavinga."
These are coming out too. Panini Chronicles. These are the hobby too, guys. Stay tuned to the channel. We're gonna open some sick cards out of here. Select, and again, stay tuned to the channel because sorry to cut you off up there, but we got to do some advertising. But check out for that. I got about 8 videos. We got hockey. We're gonna do basketball. We're gonna do baseball, calcio, everything. So,
what's your most prized card? Your most valuable card?
My most valuable card
across the entire range.
That's a tough question.
I'll give you a clue. CR7.
Actually, funny enough, hold on. Let me find something quick here. This is for all you Ronaldo fans saying I was a hater. There we go, right there. This is what, a Gem Min 10? Gem Min 10. This is the highest rating you're gonna get. Well, for SGC, which is like they're a grading company. But yeah, I actually got this in a deal for I hit a Camavinga out of 10. So it's got a red border on it. Albert is like, what is this guy talking about? But anyways, he's like, so there's only 10 rookie cards. So Camavinga's rookie came out this year, right? There's Topps Chrome, there's Topps Merlin, which I don't know if you remember, 95, those stickers.
Yeah.
They've now they've branded a card that's based off of that kind of design. So now because the sports cards are getting hyped up. So anyways, I hit in a hobby box, which has cost me about 400 Canadian dollars. And a Camavinga rookie to 10, so red. I sold that for $925 plus this, plus a bunch of Italian cards. So 925 Canadian. So Albert, if you want to start in the card industry, let me know.
The thing is, there's a guy in England who does these.
Tons, yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy, but he's quite famous actually. Actually, footballers actually reach out to him, and even football clubs. Like he'll do a pack, and he'll unveil, like, pull out a special card for a special player. He's actually quite a funny guy, actually. And but it's not like it seems your cards are all cased and are quite limited. His ones are just these little packet things that you get from the.
Well, no, so one of these probably came out of those packs, right? So you have to ship these away, and then the company will grade it for you. So you don't always get a 10, right? It could be a 9, 8, depending on the corners and all that stuff. So again, they have their procedures. Every company's, some are more stringent. Obviously, PSA and Beckett are the top, right? So
basically, what you're doing is you're doing the Pikachu.
Everything.
What I'm saying is you're doing kind of the Pokemon football cards, basically. That's what it is.
You got it. You got it, buddy.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And no, pretty soon we're gonna get her going. We're gonna be fucking breaking. So you can join, you can buy Juves, and we'll get you some Juve cards.
Well, you give me
I have some Juve cards for you, actually.
I'm only got one card interested, Badger. That's it.
I think I got some. I'll look. No, because you know what? So the thing is, man, what they've been doing recently, they've been going. Every so often they're bringing new, like, not vintage, but like the superstars of the past to the newer sets. So this year, Del Piero was heavy. Vialli was heavy. And I gotta see if I'll show you later once we're done. But so there's essentially, it's called Stadium Club Chrome, and they're all like live action shots. Really cool set that they came out with. So the Vialli one is him when he's holding up the Champions League trophy. It's actually it's a sweet card, man. So, and that you can get pretty easily. So
to be fair, if you can find one with Vialli who played for Sampdoria where he had his curly locks on, that's a rare moment.
Oh well, you know what the thing is with Calcio and cards, it wasn't as hyped as it is now. So now you have all these numberings, all these different parallels. Back then, it used to be either stickers.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Exactly, right? So it was stickers and
trade people with my stickers.
Exactly. So
I couldn't give a toss about the England team or Germany or Brazil. All I wanted was Italy.
It's tough. It's tough to find. Like there's a Padova like dual card with, I can't remember who the other player was, but so again, it's contention. Like what's someone's actual rookie card, right? Like their first card that's ever been released, because those essentially hold the most value. So there's been disputed. They also created like a lost rookies, they call it, card this year with like an old Del Piero photo. So yeah, no, there's lots of interesting stuff, man. So we're gonna definitely get into it here, and yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, obviously, I think we'll call it here because, like I said, we got on. We were gonna do a 30, and it turned into an hour. So it's okay, more content for you guys. But Albert, it was a pleasure having you on, man. Obviously,
thank you for having me on. Great to see you back.
Check them out at Juventissimo 90s. We got to get those follows up because his Twitter account got shafted. And
Uh,
again, I don't want to drop any hints, but there's been there was a lost and found of some content on there with this guy. So I don't want to say too much yet, but we got to get this guy out there because he's definitely he's always knowledgeable, great opinion, great guy to talk to. He always makes me laugh. And yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Whoever's stuck around with us, whoever's participated, asked questions. For me, it's at Juventinita DAL on everything. Juventinita Back to Black and White podcast, and then on Instagram, if you do want to check out the card side, it's at Team X Cards YYC. And yeah, we're gonna be posting a lot more stuff here, and hopefully a lot more lives. And Mason's already reached out; he wants to get on the next one with Merda, so he's moving today. That's why he wasn't here, and Graham's busy as well with work. So good luck to him on that, and he's definitely going to be a mainstay probably on this channel in the coming weeks. But yeah, Albert, thank you for
Yeah,
coming
no,
on. I
listen, it's
appreciate it.
been an absolute pleasure speaking to you again, and definitely it's glad to see you back. And yeah, I'm sure with all your new different content coming through, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking forward to finally get it out. That's for damn sure. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching. Drop a comment. Tell me what you liked. What do you want to see in terms of cards? We'll leave that as well. And who else do you want to have? Again, don't hesitate to ask if you want to come on the podcast. I'm open to bringing. We don't have any set lists or set guests, so anyone who's on is more than welcome. And as always, guys, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao, guys.
Ciao for now.